Hi everyone, I'm Dave Giancola, joined again by Mike Trossel to revisit an incredible decade of U.S. Opens. This time, it's the Women's Opens of the 2000s, and what a way to kick it off. Karrie Webb emerges as a dominant force in the women's game with her back-to-back victories in 2000 and 2001.
And Dave, Meg Mallon and Julie Inkster won their second Women's Open titles in the 2000s, while Annika Sorenstam won her third in a playoff over Pat Hurst at Newport in 2006.
And then 2005 was filled with drama when Birdie Kim holed out a bunker shot on the 72nd hole to take home the title. And then 2008, Inbee Park becomes the youngest champion in history at the age of 19.
But the decade starts with Karrie Webb and her consecutive victories to start the 2000s.
Well, not a good start for Karrie Webb. Sometimes a bogey on the first hole I find sort of is like a wake-up call.
I played a pretty poor first hole, and I said, I've got 71 more holes to go, let's just see what happens. It's too early in the day to be down on yourself now. So I birdied the next hole and really settled me down. It really did.
After 2 rounds, Webb trailed the 1991 champion Meg Mallon by just 1 stroke. But on Saturday, she would shoot an impressive 68, while Mallon could only manage a 1-over-par 73. Going into the final round of the 55th U.S. Women's Open, Karrie Webb held what many thought was a comfortable 4-stroke lead.
I knew it wasn't over. 4 shots, it's a nice cushion, but 18 holes on a U.S. Open golf course, you can never have a big enough lead, I don't think.
Through 6 holes of the final round, Webb held a 3-shot lead, but victory was far from certain.
This ball turning left to the hole. Barely carried in the water.
For the first time, she looked really uncomfortable on a golf course, and I played with her a lot, and rarely is she uncomfortable over a golf shot.
I was a little shaken up. I didn't expect. I really hadn't hit a shot like that all week, and it just really came at such a bad time.
It's almost worse for me when she makes a mistake, because she gets so mad at herself. It doesn't affect her poorly when she gets mad. It affects her to where she steps the level of her game up. So you almost would like to see her get lulled to sleep on the golf course, because then, she's a little more distracted.
After her double bogey at the par 3 7th, Webb rebounded by playing the final 10 holes in 9 pars and 1 birdie. In doing so, she pulled away from Meg Mallon and the rest of the field. She walked up the 18th fairway knowing that in just 5 attempts, she would win her first U.S. Women's Open Championship.
Walking down 18 and I'm 25 years old and I'm going to win the U.S. Open without even having to worry how I play the 18th hole. It's just an unbelievable feeling.
Playing in the second-to-last group was Australian Shani Waugh and Julie Inkster. And Inkster didn't waste any time in showing her desire to catch Sorenstam. Inkster was 2 under par on the par 3s for the week, but hadn't birdied the second hole yet. She now trailed by only one. She remained steady, 3 more pars, and then faced with this tough up and down at the par 4 6th. And down it went. A birdie 3 and a tie for the lead at 2 under. Would her luck continue at the 7th? The new leader at 3 under par.
This for a 2-shot lead. Beautifully stroked. Inkster moves to 4 under. Sorenstam has it. Whoa, that patience is paying off. She's within 1, and with Inkster off the green at 15.
Another lob wedge.
Very quick going that direction, as you can see, just extremely quick, and the next one will be equally slow. Looks good, and still none. You've got to be kidding me. What a great up and in. Sorenstam had a ringside seat. She's got it.
Oh, what a reaction from Inkster. Moves to 5 under par, now a 3-shot lead with 2 to play.
Well, it has been very clear from the get-go of this final round of the championship who the fans have been pulling for. Julie Inkster, they can identify with her. So it's looking very good that Inkster will win a second Open title. Back at Old Waverly, I never forget coming down the fairway when she had the big lead. She said, "Mama's gonna bring home a trophy, girls. It's a big one." And Mom has a chance to bring that big one home again. It's gonna take a miraculous stretch run down here for Sorenstam, who's gonna have to make that birdie at 17 and hope for a hole-out eagle at 18. Now it's official. Inkster has another championship at Prairie Dunes. 22 years later, she's the Women's Open champion for the 2nd time.
The fairway bunker shot that I had for my 3rd shot on 18, that was the best shot I've ever hit in my life. I had to back off of it once and just say, I can't hit this shot, you know, Lord, just do it for me. And somehow it came out of there straight like a bullet right at the pin and worked out. Well, walking up to the green, I told my caddy, go, birdie to tie, and he goes, yep, and walked up there and I go, I need your best guess. I need you to tell me exactly what you see this ball doing, and we both agreed that it was going to be right edge. And looking at the putt, the green was so shiny that it was going to be just lightning fast, and it was either going to hit the hole or it was going to go off the green. So all I kept thinking about is just hit it square. Hit the putt square, get it on line, and let it roll. It was probably the greatest thrill to be on an 18th green, and you know, to be at the U.S. Open was icing on the cake, but to be there on Sunday and make that putt and just to get to scream and enjoy it. I couldn't even hear myself scream, and that was the coolest part about it, that, you know, the crowd just went crazy. When Angela made that putt on Sunday, I was not prepared for that ball to go in the hole. I knew it didn't matter because Kelly was already in with the leading score in the clubhouse, so it didn't matter that Angela had made that. It shouldn't really have affected me mentally, but I think I just wasn't ready for the roar of the crowd more than anything. It just caught me off guard and kind of threw me off kilter, and I was focusing on that, you know, for a little bit as opposed to really focusing and zoning in on my putt. So when that ball went in, I kind of started shaking a little bit and realizing the circumstances and the fact that I had a putt to win the U.S. Open, and unfortunately came up a little bit short.
Monday morning and an 18-hole playoff.
It was just, I relaxed. I didn't think about Monday. The only thought that crossed my mind is that I knew one of the 3 people playing tomorrow was going to be the U.S. Open champion, and that I thought about that quite a bit going to sleep. Surprisingly, I slept very well on Sunday night. I think, honestly, I felt like there was more pressure on me on Sunday because you could still go out and shoot 80 and just, not even have a good finish. Whereas going into Monday, even if you fail miserably, you're still going to end up tied for second. So it took a lot of pressure off and let me just go out there and swing freely and just have a good time with it. On Monday, back to number 18, the same thing going up to the green. I go, Jeremy, my caddy, we need birdie to tie. And he's like, yep. So I walk up there and once again I said, Jeremy, I need to know exactly what you see. I need to know the spot. I need to know the speed. I want to know exactly how you would hit this putt. And once again, we matched. He picked out the spot and I liked it. And to tell you the truth, I didn't really know what the speed was going to be like. I just hit it at that spot and it's kind of like hit and hope. That's why I was in shock when it went in. Sunday I kind of felt like I could have made that putt. It's a putt you look at and say, I can make this. But Monday, I don't think you want that putt to win a golf tournament. I was in shock. I think the words that I said, I can't believe it happened again. It still gives me chills. I could not believe that ball went in. And I think it was at that moment I knew that, something special had happened. When Angela made that putt on 18 on Monday, it actually didn't come as a surprise to me. And when I saw her pull out the putter, I just got this feeling that came over me that said, this ball's going in the hole, and I just know it. And literally before she even began taking her practice strokes, I was focusing on my putt and the fact that, okay, she's holed it. Match play, you have to make it on top of her. And I was really mentally prepared when her ball went in the hole, that it was my turn to putt and do what I did. I had to remember that Hillary still had a putt to make, and gut feeling was I didn't think she would miss it twice on 18.
Champions in the history of the U.S. Women's Open. Birdie wins it.
When I got to the Orchards that week, I was pretty excited about playing in the U.S. Open. I knew my game was close, but I also knew that my putting needed to improve in order to play well. So that was the factor that I wasn't so sure about until I started playing.
But could she really do this again? 13 years removed from her first and last U.S. Open victory, Meg Mallon's chances of winning another national championship were probably running out. That is until she began play at the Orchards Golf Club. And through the first 3 rounds, the 41-year-old veteran displayed a game that would put her well within striking distance of the lead.
Going into the last round, playing in the last group with Jennifer Rosales, she had a 3-shot lead, but in the experience I've had in the U.S. Open, I know it's very difficult to carry a 3-shot lead, especially for someone that's never been there. So my eye was really on the group in front of me, which was Kelly Robbins and Annika Sorenstam, because they had been there several times, and I knew that they were probably the ones to beat. When I hit that putt on number 4, all I was trying to do was get it close to the hole.
From long range, and Mallon makes it. Take a bow, Meg Mallon. Birdie to 6 under.
It got so loud when that putt went in the hole, and you just kind of throw up your arms and say, okay, maybe this is going to be my day.
Just got it there. Another one finds the hole. And Mallon has some round going here today.
It's an incredible feeling when you know that the hole looks like a bucket all day, and that no matter what you do, the putts you hit, you feel like you're going to hit the center of the hole. And it's a wonderful place to be as a professional athlete, let alone a professional golfer. And it's very rare when it happens, and then to have it happen on Sunday at the U.S. Open was just amazing.
Get in the hole. Still has it.
Make it 23.
Goodness. You think it isn't her turn? Wow.
I knew that it was a special day, how I was rolling the ball, how it just, you know, it was just going in. I just felt it. I knew every putt that I had a chance to make. And, you know, it's just a wonderful feeling, and I enjoyed the heck out of it. Winning the U.S. Open this time around at 41 years old is far sweeter than the first time that I won it, because I know how special it is now. I've been through 13 years of heartbreaks in the U.S. Open, basically, and it's my favorite tournament to play in. And to have the opportunity to win it again was just amazing. It was an incredible moment for me and my family.
It's a 65 and the lowest round ever turned in by a U.S. Women's Open champion. Meg Mallon has done it again, 13 years removed from the first one.
Something obviously I'll never forget, I'll always cherish. I'll always have my name on that championship trophy, which is, you know, a wonderful feeling to have as a professional golfer.
Going into the final round, 8 players were within 2 shots of the lead, 6 of them under age 25. Pressel's putter held up to the Sunday pressure. A par putt on 7 avoided her 4th bogey in a row. Another par putt from the fringe on 10. Pressel led the field in putting for the week, and her lofty goal began to look more possible. For Pressel's teenage rival, it could not have been more disappointing. Michelle Wie double bogeyed the first hole and was never in contention, taking 34 putts on Sunday. A final round 11 over 82 dropped Wie into a tie for 23rd at championship's end. Paula Creamer's chances also slipped away. A bogey at the 16th ended her championship hopes. She went on to shoot a 79 and tie for 19th. Instead, another unexpected teenager rose to the top on Sunday. Fresh off her sophomore year at Duke, 19-year-old Brittany Lang shared the lead after an opening round of 69. Following rounds of 77 and 72, the All-America shot an even par 71 on Sunday, putting her at 5 over par and the leader in the clubhouse. 23-year-old Birdie Kim changed her name from Ju Yun to Birdie at the end of 2004 to distinguish herself from the many Kims on tour.
Well, Birdie's the word of the day right now, as in Kim.
It seemed to work. Imagine being 17 and having a chance to win your sport's biggest prize. By Sunday afternoon, the opportunity was there for the taking for Morgan Pressel.
It was just electric, and every putt that I made and everything that happened, it was just so exciting.
But as Pressel continued to make crucial putts, Birdie Kim remained ahead. It was a remarkable showing for the second-year LPGA player, who came into the Open with just 1 career top 10 in 33 starts. She was unflappable, but because of Pressel, as under the radar too as a leader could possibly be. Finally, Kim blinked with a bogey at 16, and Morgan Pressel arrived on the 72nd tee, tied for the championship lead.
That tee shot was probably one of the hardest tee shots. I mean, I'm tied for the lead, and I've got to hit it over water, and the whole fairway slopes toward the water, so that's a scary tee shot. And then the fact that I striped it right down the middle, I was like, well, you know, I'm gonna have a chance to tie at least. like the feeling that somebody walked up to me and smacked me over the head by a 2x4. I gave myself a perfect opportunity to win the U.S. Women's Open, the biggest event in women's golf, and came pretty close.
These are not easy shots, though, and it's blowing 20 miles an hour.
That's 24. More.
Everybody's been leaving it short.
Shot here. Not Annika, she's up there. Got it there. Yes! That was a confident early ride. Another confident stroke of the point for Sorenstam. Hello, 2-0. And Annika Sorenstam, 35 years old, in search of her 10th major championship, after ending 72 holes of regulation at even par. So this 18-hole playoff underway to decide the latest U.S. Women's Open champion.
Looking right down the throat of the green from 68 yards, carries it past the hole.
Here it comes. Great start for the top player in the world. That's taking charge at the outset. That's kind of a shocker to Hurst to be down 2 after 1 hole, a par 5.
This one looks good.
Right there.
Tremendous.
Annika coming out looking sharp. Going about as good as it could possibly go for Sorenstam, who's going to build a 3-shot lead here.
Annika's second.
All the way back. All the way.
That was a beauty from 114 yards. Annika Sorenstam just as dropped off and set short of the line. You're in trouble.
Great sportsmanship exhibited here. And there it is, title number 3 finally. Which in her 42nd major try, looks like that drought is finally going to be over. Didn't win on the first time, Dottie, until her 136th tournament. So lots of learning curves in the career of Cristie Kerr. And Cristie Kerr has her major championship, the biggest one of all, and finally just overcome with emotion. The 2007 U.S. Women's Open champion.
The second round finished early Saturday morning, with the third round introducing us to a new face and a new leader.
What a putting performance today.
This is pretty cool. I mean, never really been here, but played really well today, and just the hole looked huge.
The U.S. Open was Stacey Lewis's first event as a professional, and with a 54-hole lead, she was on the brink of becoming the first player to win a major in her very first start as a pro.
I mean, I'm just trying to smile and have fun, and it seems to keep the nerves away so far.
But right behind her, a proven winner on the LPGA Tour, Paula Creamer's third round 69 was good enough for solo second, and a spot in the final pairing come Sunday.
So Paula Creamer throws her name to the top of the leaderboard.
It was out there. You know, you could play well if you hit some good shots. I've won before. I've won on Sunday. I've come back from behind. And I've, had the lead at the same time. So I know how to win. It's just a matter of, not getting too greedy out there.
But still in the mix, In-Bee Park. A third round 71 kept her in contention, 2 shots behind Lewis.
I've been playing good last 3 days, so just keep doing the same thing, and hopefully it happens tomorrow. Almost reaching my dreams, so I'm very happy with it.
And that dream would soon become a reality. In-Bee came out firing. On the first hole, she chipped in for birdie to get within 1 of Lewis.
What a way to start the final round of the Women's U.S. Open.
Soon, Park took the lead after both Lewis and Creamer double bogeyed the second hole. The 2 Americans struggled the rest of the way. Creamer shot a front nine 41, and both ended up with final round 78s. In-Bee took advantage.
Young nerves.
Another solid 71 was more than good enough to top Creamer and Lewis. But before we get to In-Bee's historic finish, a classic one had already taken place. Getting ready to walk up the 18th fairway in what could be her final U.S. Open, the golf gods smiled on Annika Sorenstam.
Hole 2 that's been very disappointing for her after having such a reasonable eagle attempt on Friday afternoon from 3.5 feet. It would be ironic
Look
that
at
she
this.
makes this.
Look at this. It's in.
It's in!
That's the way to finish it off. Well, I'll tell you what, if that was the last shot that Annika Sorenstam ever hits in a U.S. Open, she will never, ever forget it.
So ironic, really. I had so many different feelings out there, so many different emotions. I mean, I had tears, I was angry, I was happy, and then you hold a shot from 199 to break 80 by 2 shots. So it's just, what can I say? Just another great memory.
Lord, for those people who don't believe in fate, you better think again after watching that.
A ceremonial ending for one major winner, a beginning for another. At 19 years, 11 months, and 17 days, In-Bee became the youngest woman ever to win a U.S. Open.
I can't believe this just happened, and I don't know what to say. I'm very excited. I'm very honored to win this event. I guess this is my day.
While Saucon Valley already claimed a victim in Lorena Ochoa on Friday, Saturday would be no better. Playing in the final group with Kerr, Creamer made 3 bogeys on her front 9, then stumbled to the 10th, where she would hit over the green and struggle to make triple bogey.
She's going to lose maybe 4 shots on this hole. That hurts.
She ultimately shot a 79 and dropped 8 strokes back off the leader. Only 2 players would shoot under par on Saturday, one of them being Yoon-Hee Ji, who posted a 332 on her back 9, putting her in contention 2 strokes behind Christy Kerr.
No lead's ever safe, and it's great to be leading, but you know what, come Sunday, you really have to win the day over the rest of the field.
On Sunday through 11, she was joined at the top of the leaderboard by Candy Kung. Kung, who was playing one group ahead of Kerr, was 4 under for the day after a birdie on the 12th.
Kung has just been moving up the leaderboard.
Kerr would meet her fate at the par 4 16th, where she 3-putted her way to a bogey.
What a 3-putt.
Meanwhile, Yoon-Hee Ji was making a run on the back 9. With birdies on the 13th and 14th, Ji positioned herself just 1 behind the leader, Candy Kung.
Maybe
gave it a blast and drops.
Kung bogeyed 17 and would finish at 1 over in a 3-way tie with Kerr and Ji. The championship was up for the taking. Kerr and Ji approached the par 4 18th with 1 last shot. Both were left with lengthy birdie putts for the outright lead. Kerr would attempt her uphill putt first.
Pretty good putt. It was in just a little too hard. That was a perfect putt almost.
The young South Korean faced the pressure of a 25-foot birdie putt to win the U.S. Open.
Good looking putt. With a birdie at the 72nd hole. What a putt
fourth Korean to win a Women's Open since 1998, and Ji was the first player since 1993 to win with a birdie on the 72nd hole.
I prayed that just this once, please just get in the hole. And, I actually thought it wasn't going to go in, but then as it was getting closer to the hole, it just went in.
꿈을 이뤘다?
Dream come true.